No one in the village knew the danger that was coming, not even Kazi, until the day she walked to the stream with her two best friends. That day her whole world changed and she learnt never to trust blindly. The sun had barely risen, but the village of Oboko was already alive. Women were sweeping compounds, children were chasing skinny chickens, and the village goats who behaved like they owned the place were blocking the road as usual. In this peaceful village lived a girl named Kazi. At 19 years old, she was known far and wide as the girl who could stop traffic, even when there was no traffic to stop. Her beauty wasn't ordinary beauty. Her smile, calm like early morning sunshine. Her eyes, sharp enough to see a lie before you finish telling it. And her walk, even women turned their heads and say, this girl is too beautiful. She is an orphan who lived with her grandmother, Oyibo, a sweet old widow who people say she looks like a white woman. She is so full of wisdom. She raised Kazi with discipline, kindness, and long stories that started with "when I was your age" and never ended on time. Kazi was respectful, calm, and surprisingly humble for someone who had men queuing like they were buying fuel just to talk to her. Every morning, at least 3 men waited near Mama Lotal's compound, pretending to look for fresh air, but really hoping to greet Kazi. Even the chief's son, Prince Dara, who always walked like he swallowed a stick, would clear his throat loudly any time Kazi passed. "Good morning, Kazi," he would say, flashing the smile he practiced in front of his mirror. Kazi would bow her head politely and reply, "Good morning, my prince." Then she would continue her journey, leaving him standing there, speechless, blushing, and confused. Kazi had 2 best friends, Fali, who was slim and the talkative one who always had gist, and Muna, the foodie, the quiet one who pretended to be shy, but her eyes saw everything. Everyone thought the 3 of them were inseparable. They walked together, fetched water together, gossiped about village drama together. But unknown to Kazi, she was walking with 2 snakes wrapped in wrapper. Fali and Muna were burning with jealousy. Why? Because every man who looked at them once looked at Kazi twice. And every compliment meant for them somehow landed on Kazi's head. And worst of all, when Kazi wasn't trying, she still shined. Meanwhile, they could dress, polish, tighten wrapper, loosen wrapper, use oil on their face. Still nothing. So deep in their heart, jealousy started growing like weeds. They laughed with Kakizi, but behind her they whispered like witches. One bright afternoon, the 3 girls prepared to go to the stream. Muna carried the biggest pot. Fali carried her pot and carried the gossip. And Kakizi carried her gentle beauty and her pot. The road to the stream was long but beautiful. Birds flying, wind blowing, the smell of wet earth everywhere. They fetched their water successfully and began walking back. Kakizi walked ahead, humming happily. Fali and Muna walked behind, exchanging dark glances. Then they reached the lonely part of the path. An old abandoned well stood there, covered with vines. Fali suddenly called, "Kakizi, come and see something inside this well." Kakizi turned. "What is it?" Muna added, "It looks like something shiny is inside. Maybe someone dropped money." Kakizi,
innocent and curious, stepped forward. She bent to look inside, and before she could even blink, push! Her scream filled the air as she tumbled into the deep darkness. Her pot shattered. Her voice echoed. Then silence. Fali and Muna looked at each other. Fali whispered, "So, it's done." Muna muttered, "Let's go before someone comes." And just like that, they left as if nothing happened. But Kakizi did not die. At the bottom of the well was a small pool of clean water and a soft patch of earth. Her body hurt, but she was alive. Days passed. She cried, she prayed, she called for help.
Then one night, she heard a strange sound, like humming. Out of the darkness, an old woman with glowing eyes appeared. Not a ghost, not a witch, a spirit guardian who lived in forgotten places. The woman looked at her and smiled softly. "My child," she said, "you were pushed by jealousy, but you will rise by destiny." She gave Kazi food, water, and comfort. She told her stories to keep her calm. She protected her until the right moment came. Back in the village, Mama Onibo is worried and sad. She has asked everyone she knew about the whereabouts of her granddaughter. No one seems to know, not even her best friends, Fali and Muna. Mama Ibo reported to the chief, who promised to send men to look for Kazi. Mama Oyibo cried herself to sleep every night. She can't stop thinking of her sweet, poor grandchild. Even the villagers were genuinely worried about their beautiful Kazi. Kazi has spent 3 days in the well, singing, praying, and hoping that a miracle would happen. One sunny morning, a hunter named Ude passed by the well. He heard something, a voice singing softly from inside. At first, he thought it was the wind. But then he heard it again. "Help, please." He rushed to the well, looked inside, and saw Kazi, weak, dirty, but alive. "Great ancestors," he shouted. "How long have you been there?" Kazi whispered, "Please, help me." Jemba tied his rope, lowered it, and slowly pulled her out. It took strength, it took time, but he saved her. The moment her feet touched the ground, she sat down on the forest ground. The hunter carried her back to the village. When Kezi returned to Obuko, the entire village screamed in shock. Mama Loda fainted twice. Women and children shouted, "Kezi is back!" Men rushed forward like she was a celebrity. Everyone wanted to know what happened. Kezi told the story. The crowd turned to Fali and Muna. Fali's mouth started shaking. Muna suddenly lost her ability to speak, like a cat caught her tongue. The chief was furious. "You two tried to kill an innocent girl because of jealousy? In this village, before my ancestors? Bring them forward." They were punished severely and made to serve the village for months, fetching water, fetching firewood, and working on people's farm. Meanwhile, Kezi became even more loved. People said she came back with spiritual grace. Some said she now had well powers. Prince Dara brought her gifts every day and they became friends. Kezi healed, grew stronger, and became a voice for young girls in the village. It is indeed good to be good. In life, jealousy is a silent poison. But no matter how deep others try to bury you, if you walk with a clean heart, you will rise stronger than ever.